Ziva says, good morning, John. Do it work, so have a great day.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Romeo. I appreciate that. I'm gonna turn this lamp up. Okay, so this is John Harder with another episode of a Google Live Hangout, and this is episode number 77. And today I want to speak on the worth of TBC, the worth of TBC, but more more with the idea of how do we place value? What is it in our lives that places value on things? Goodness, starting already, huh? Let's see. All right, so you know, we're living in a world with where stuff, where well, let's go back actually for just for laying a little bit of groundwork. Back when when I was young and when I was a kid, also I have often seen, you know, furniture, various, you know, things. I think furniture is probably where it shows up almost the most, but I'm sure it's other places too, like glassware, um, and you know, many areas like that, where people back in the 50s, 60s, and so on, there was a sense of, should we say, pride in creating something of great value. People would they would go to great lengths, you know, let's say carpenters or yeah, house building as well. Many houses that were built back in, you know, in the 50s and 40s and even beyond, older than that, are still structurally sometimes more sound than houses that are built 2 years ago, kind of thing. Now, why are we going there? Well, I want us to take a bit of a like zoom out a little bit and have an understanding. How do we place value on things? You see, today we live in a world where you know, you go to the store, you're looking for a desk for maybe for your computer, and so you go to a store, to the Business Depot or some, you know, a furniture store or whatever, Walmart for that matter, and you're looking for a desk, and you soon realize that every desk there is made of basically of sawdust with a wood like veneer over top of it, just whether it's sprayed on or maybe even embossed on the wood, on the surface, and then painted over, or you know, somehow printed over. Actually, it's amazing how much is being printed these days. And you soon realize that that there's actually no value in it. It's it's made by robots. It's often not made by humans. Uh, there is no attention has been given to. Uh, I- I'll say it this way: there isn't a sense of pride involved in providing value. It's not about value. It is about production. It is about getting massive quantities out there. And may I add this? It is all about getting massive quantity of zero value out there. And so you go, you know, you pick up this cheap desk, because that is really the only thing that you can find. It doesn't matter which store you go to. And you go home and you know, you put it together. Uh, and then a week later, you know, if this is in the spring, and a week later, you know, many of your neighbors, they're putting, you know, it's spring pickup time, and they are putting a lot of things by the street. And then you realize that now the neighbors are putting a desk just like the one you just paid $100 for. They're putting it on the street for the garbage to be, you know, to picked up by the garbage truck. So what are we doing? Isn't it time that we stop and ask ourselves, are what are we doing? And you know, we had a yard sale. We had a yard sale just a few weeks ago. And and you know, I couldn't believe hardly how much stuff we were selling. And 6 years ago, when we moved back to Ontario from Alberta, we left seemingly almost half of our stuff there. And since we moved here, I have lived on a paycheck to paycheck basis kind of a job that would afford me a cheap car, uh, barely, you know, um, we're just paying our bills basically. So how has this stuff piled up to such great proportions again? It makes me wonder how much stuff do we really have around, that and all of the stuff that we sold at the yard sale really was stuff we never use. We never use it. So okay, now how do we place value on since the production age has been pushed? We as people who are enslaved to a debt-based system, we have we all but have a job And the job that we have basically is to help push the production age, to help push the production of creating basically zero value of massive stuff. It makes me wonder, should we just stop and ask ourselves, what are we doing? What are we doing? I think that I think that if we want to have value back in our lives, we need to value the things that we buy. We need to value we buy so that the things that we buy will have their value that we are looking for. Now, I know that that we have been taught in the school system on all of the you know, the channels, news channels, on all of those. There is there is so much advertisement. All of these advertisements, they are how should I say, they program us subconsciously. We do not notice the programming that we are subjected to by all of the advertisements of the things that we that, you know, advertisements that we see and hear, of course. You know, when we're listening to radio, there's a lot of time goes by where we hear advertisements. The advertisements that we repeatedly hear, they slowly lodge themselves in the subconscious. We don't notice it. We don't notice it. We might not even really like. We might not even really like those commercials that we hear. But because they are so repetitive or repetitious or repeated so often, they tend to lodge themselves in the subconscious. Now, let me just point out a very, very, very powerful truth that I think if you will understand, if you're a person who does quite a bit of TV watching, I think you will find this to be quite valuable. And that is this: commercials are created for the intent, obviously, of selling whatever it is they're advertising. Now, the people that are advertising, they may or may not be aware of what they're doing to the listeners and the observers or the watchers of TV. But here's what's going on. If you watch TV and you see a commercial over and over about how, you know, about a specific thing that causes cancer. And let me just throw in a couple of things here of things that you will sometimes hear in commercials. And I think when I say this, you will realize that's what you have heard that before. And that is, the commercials will often state things like, have you been feeling like this or like this, and they kind of give you the thoughts. They are putting thoughts in your mind. Have you been feeling like this or like this, and if you have, that could be, you might need to go and check with your doctor. Do you see where we're going here? What is going on? Because what your subconscious picks up and deems to be true, it will create in your body. Why do you think that so many people have cancer these days? Could it be because of all the advertising that they're listening to, and do not realize that their subconscious picks it up from the advertisements, and because it lodges in the subconscious, it begins creating it in your body? You might just want to throw the TV out altogether unless you use it for some useful purpose. Just saying. Now, value. How do we place value on things? At what point will we come to a place where we take some time, literally evaluate our life, evaluate how do I place value in life? Where am I going from here? Where has my past thinking brought me today? And how do I navigate to my thinking to change my direction to get me to the life of true happiness and joy that I'm looking for? Now, why is value important? Why is value important? Well, let's actually look at a few things in that regard. First of all, you need to value yourself. You need to place a very, very high value on yourself. How do we do that? You look at yourself as something that's irreplaceable. It is never, ever possible to replace you. Now, that may not be what your boss is telling you, if you have a boss. But if you go and you take a look in your mirror to see who you really are, and if you did this quite often, you will soon realize that there is no possible way in the world that you can be replaced. There is only one you. Your DNA is in your body, it's outside of your body, and it's in the entire universe. You will never, ever be replaced. There's only one you. Think about the value of that. Think about the value of you. Now, how then do we end up with lower values? How then do we end up with so much cheap stuff in the house? Where does this get broke down? Now, let me just actually stay on that path for a bit longer. If you are of such high value, then you deserve the very best of furniture. You deserve furniture that can't be found in Walmart. You deserve furniture that can't be found in hardly any of the stores these days. there are still places that might just make furniture for you. And those would have to be places where people literally pay personal attention and make the furniture and the things of real material, not from the sawdust that blows off, and and from uh, and uh, and stuff that is not just made by machines. And it is a personal touch, a person to person touch that will give you the value, where you can, when you buy it, you can look at it and you say, I like that. It's not just a piece of junk. I like that. I hope it's making sense. Um, I know that that far too much of all of this stuff, and the workplaces, schools, like education places, everything, everywhere we go, the emphasis are placed on production, on fast, on, wait a minute, wait a minute. Is it really about that? Is that not all part of this artificial layer that is laid over top of the reality and the connection of nature? I believe that we need to take, to zoom out sometimes and take a look at our values. Now, if we're talking this much about value, what's the value of TBC? What is the value of TBC? What is the value in having free energy? What's the value? Let's let's actually look at that side a little bit of where are we going? Okay, so what we, all of us, and I simply believe this, that all of us, we want true happiness. We want to be able to enjoy life. Well, I don't know about you, but for me to truly enjoy life, and then living in a world of hustle and bustle where you can't do anything fast enough, and you have hardly time to spend with your family, with friends, with, you hardly know your neighbors. They're gone during the day to their busy job, and in the evening, whatever all the reasons are why we do not really know our neighbors, uh, it all has to do with this fake layer that we are involved in, that has been shaping our, our life. And here we are, very busy, barely getting by, and are basically disconnected from a life of happiness and true fulfillment. And now, if we would take and trade that life in for one that where we have time, we can go on vacations where we like to. We can literally actually take the time to get to know our neighbors, and who knows, they are probably very nice people, and they would probably be, we could probably really enjoy life together, as in visiting, and heck, even party now and then, have a get together and a dance, or I don't know what all, people enjoy. I think a dance is a great thing. to just enjoy, get to know each other and have fun. But these things, in order to live life in a you know, in a more relaxed manner, and actually, you know, be involved with other people more, and have true friends, we have to have a slower pace of life. We need to be connected with reality, and, you know, with the essence of life, I should say. So where does this all, you know, how do we fit all that and place real value? Well, as I mentioned before, you need to first begin with the value of yourself. You know, by the way, the more you learn to understand yourself, the more you understand who you are, who you truly are, and that it's impossible to ever replace you, the more you will believe and understand that you deserve value. You deserve all of the best that life can give. That's what each one of us are here for. That is why we came to this earth, to live all the fullness of joy that life can give, to enjoy, to wear the best of clothing, to have the best of furniture, the nicest vehicle, and and real happiness, and realize that all of us, we are all on the same level of quality. We all, because no one can ever be replaced. I know at work, in the industrial world, that is not what we're being told. There we're being told that everybody is just replaceable. That is a very, very low value on life. The value is really, we can't be replaced ever. Now, how does TBC then, what gives TBC such high value? Now, if we take and we do a little, you know, understanding of what TBC really is, if we understand what its mission is, if we understand uh, why it was created, and how it's already beginning to cause that ripple effect on a almost global scale, I think we can quite easily understand that TBC has a very, very high value, and that it can afford us the life that we want. And what do I mean by that? I mean that we can again create an economy where this hustle bustle world is actually going to slow down, to where people can actually have the time to enjoy life, um, to where people will be able to go to a store and find value in the store, to you know, we're actually it's not just all about this high production, but it's rather on value. So now, what is an example of good value? You know, there are people who build furniture, um, there are, is it an Amish? There is Amish furniture that is being built. Much of their furniture, and I'm sure there's others. It's actually not that far from here. There is a furniture place that actually do build good quality furniture. And and these people, they put time into it. They give attention to detail and to good material, not just sawdust, but material, good solid wood, and things like that, and truly give it the touch of humanity, of the personal touch of quality, right? This shows up everywhere, everywhere. Now, my suggestion is that, or I'm going to actually talk more from experience than just for what I would suggest to try. But my experience has been that removing myself from so much advertising, from so many commercials, it begins to give me a different perspective. I begin to to be able to think more clearly, and not under so much influence from commercials, from about how I feel about that this or that might be happening in your body because of repeated commercials. You begin to realize, especially in studying and understanding ourselves better, we begin to realize that we are the creator of our own life. We are the creator. Why is the stuff in the house that's in the house? Why is, well, it was the way we were thinking. That is why that came in. So now we can change our thinking to have to bring into our life, into the house, into our life, all of the things that the way we perceive true happiness to display itself in our life. Okay, and TBC is a wonderful tool that can help us to a slower and more enjoyable pace of life. Okay, TBC is a wonderful tool for that. Why is free energy important also in this equation? Well, the systems, the supply system that we now have are really not that reliable. It's quite often that the power goes out for a while. Sometimes it just blinks, you're in the middle of a project on the computer or whatever, and suddenly the power is off, or suddenly the internet is off. And well, the next thing that also is the microwave pulses that are sent out from the smart meters. Those have been installed everywhere, and they are actually dangerous to people. They are dangerous to our surroundings. They kill bees and stuff like that, which we actually very much rely on. And then, of course, God forbid, we are paying to keep it that way. We're paying taxes to keep it that way, and we're paying monthly bills to keep it that way. Which begs the question, at what point, are we going to actually say, you know what, I think we need to take a different direction? At what point are we actually willing to say, okay, you know what, from now on, I'm going to put this much aside of my earnings or whatever, and to put it towards moving a different direction? to put it towards moving to implementing the life that I am worth, the life that I deserve to live. Deserve. You know what? We have very often a very false sense of deserve, of what we deserve. Some time ago, I bought a coffee at a coffee shop nearby here, and I gave a tip. And the girl waiting on me, she says, "I don't deserve this." I said, "Yes, you do." But you know what I felt inside? Oh, how I would love to tell her what she is really worth. How I would love to have her understand that she can never be replaced. People, TBC has been created for us to help people. People are in such a false layer of beliefs, thinking that they're not worth, thinking that they don't deserve, and fighting about things that go on outside of themselves, having no idea, no understanding that they are the ones creating it because of how they think and how they feel. You know, this makes me very, very glad that TBC has come along and given us, given us such a powerful tool that we can change the economy. We literally can. We can change the economy. And let's make sure that we put some thought into this. Let's make sure that we don't stumble over each other and and trying to run our own way with this, trying to I'm not sure what, but let's put some thought into this, because if we're going to truly achieve it, we're going to have to do it together as a team. We're going to have to work on it together. Now, I believe that that TBC actually promotes that idea quite a bit, that we work as a team. I think that is that's a wonderful thing. But let's evaluate where our highest values are, the direction we want to go, and then begin putting some money into it, because that shows us that we are serious about it. All right? That shows us that we are serious about it. We are beginning to actually take the steps. You know, a toddler, when a toddler begins to walk, they there is they don't see any reason why they can't walk. Everybody else can walk. Why, so they don't just keep crawling because they think they can't walk. They believe they can walk. And when have you ever seen a toddler that would just stop trying because they couldn't walk? You see, it's keeping at it. It's keeping at it. And thus we must feed our subconscious mind. We must tell ourselves that we can do this and that we are beginning to do this. We are already beginning to do this. You see, there is no tomorrow with the subconscious. Your subconscious doesn't have tomorrow. It only has today. And if you're going to go a different direction, you have to start today. You can't start tomorrow. It has to start today. And that is the challenge that I want to leave us with, that we begin today, that we think it through, and we begin today to take steps towards the life that we want. Now, I know, we all know that TBC keeps on going up, But let's not sit and wait. Let's not sit and wait while TBC moves up, while TBC finds its way to more implementation. Let's not sit and wait. We got to begin today to take the steps, right? And if we're going to be truly helping humanity, then we have to begin channeling our thoughts in that direction and begin doing whatever it is we can today. All right. So those of you who are watching this video who aren't yet in TBC, well, I truly hope that you have found this inspirational, and that you will find an interest enough to check out the information about TBC and educate yourself why TBC was created and what we are achieving in this world, and that you join us in this effort, because there is nothing but good in mind for that we're planning to do with TBC for humanity, not just myself, but for everybody. All right. And so if you would like to contact me, by all means, contact me. That I have my email address is there. You can contact me through my website. I highly recommend that you go through my websites and see, like the Myfree.energy and johnharder.com. Go through and see what I have there, and I am here to help you with anything that I can help you. Okay. Now, for those of you who are already in TBC and you are still on the old wallet system, let me just remind you that we do not have very much time left to get onto the new wallet. Okay, because you do get a gift on the new wallet as well if you just drop everything and you sign up again, but it is significantly less than your 50,000 or 100,000 that you may have walked away from when we were having some technical difficulties last year. Okay, so don't walk away from the wealth that you are already sitting on. Okay, so if you go to johnharder.com and and watch my video on there, and then just follow the steps through the system. I have everything there that will give you all the information that you need to successfully migrate. Many already have. Many have. They have followed my information, and those who wanted to for some reason, or they needed to, whatever it was, they contacted me and I helped them through. And I will do the same for you. But we don't have very much time left. We still do have until the end of July, but that's it. Okay. And so you must get moving on it to get your migration done. All right. So as I said, I'm here to help for whatever you need help with. For those of you who are in TBC, I invite you to give consideration to help with the free energy project. Now, if you would like to get an idea how Roman, I forget his last name, but sorry, Romeo, not Roman, Romeo. He made a video. It was on the blog, where he has actually thought out a strategy which is very, in my opinion, very smart strategy, how we can help each other in an effective way and help with the Myfree.energy project. Okay, so if you don't know what that project is, then visit the link in the description and see what I'm telling you on the home page. Okay, And of course, this site is going to develop a lot more as we go along. Matter of fact, it's going to actually become a membership site. Um, and I'm going to have information on there that is only going to be available to members of the site. But at this point, it's what's on there is open information. So do check out the offer that I'm telling you, that I'm giving you. And the offer that Romeo had that he was talking about, it amplifies it, okay? So do watch the video that Romeo had put on the blog, or that he put up, and it was put on the blog, okay? So to give you an idea how we can, in an amplified way, benefit from that project, or from helping with the project, okay? All right, so thank you very much for hanging out with me. I truly appreciate it. I'm actually going to see who's all here. I think Romeo went to work, so he stopped in, but then he had to leave, right? So, and then we got Sharon Weller. Thank you very much for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. You know, I hope I've been giving you inspiration, inspired you in some way today. Joe Stevens, thank you also very much for hanging out with me this morning. And we've got Lucy Brown. Lucy Brown, thank you for hanging out with me as well. It is Lucy, right? Okay. And Jules Ann, thank you as well. Appreciate very much that you're with me this morning. And we're A Madlock, thank you also. Thank you very much for hanging out with me. Okay, so I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. It's awesome to have you, and you know, I hope that I have inspired you in some way. You know, I would like to just leave us with this point, because I feel that I can't stress it enough. You and I, each one of us, we have a very, very high value. We have a marvelous body and a marvelous mind. Let's use that to the mutual benefit of all people. Thank you very much. Peace.